All right, my secondary math 1 class. We are going to be continuing to talk about area and just taking it a little step farther today. In fact, you might have already seen some word problems on in your assignments, but we're going to be talking more about them today. So before we get going on that, let's go ahead and just on 1 through 4, it's asking us to find the area of each of these shapes. Okay, well, number 1, what shape is this with all right angles? 4-sided shape with all right angles. Okay, that's a rectangle, so let's go ahead and write our rectangle formula. The area of a rectangle is going to be length times width. Beautiful. Okay, so now in number 1, we just need to identify which is my length and which is my width. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and identify 11.6 meters as my length, and 11 meters would be my width. Okay, so now that I identified those two, which is what we need for our formula, I can go ahead and just plug it in. So I have area equals length, 11.6 meters, times my width, 11 meters. Okay. Now, all we need to do is multiply these two numbers, which I'm going to use my calculator to help me do that. So I have 11.6 times 11, and I get 127.6. So the area is 127.6. But what are my units of measurement? Okay, I have meters times meters, so that is where we get meters squared. So our area for number 1 is 127.6 meters squared. Beautiful. Let's look at number 2. Okay, well, what shape are we dealing with now in number 2? We have a triangle. So let's go ahead and write our area for a triangle formula. So the area for a triangle now is 1/2 times base times height. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and identify our base and our heights. So base, think bottom of my triangle, height, how tall it is. So which of these is my base and which is my height? Okay, well, what if I go like this to the triangle? Okay, now which is my base? So I can see that 5.2 is my base, even though it's kind of on the side, and that would mean 6 is my height. Okay, so now that we know those two things, let's go ahead and plug it into our formula. So we have area equals 1/2 times my base, which is 5.2 kilometers, times my height, which is 6 kilometers. Perfect. Okay, well, now let's go ahead and multiply these two. Actually, 3 numbers. Okay, well, what is 1/2 in the calculator? We can do 0.5 for 1/2 times 5.2 times 6. And we get 15.6. So the area for this triangle is 15.6. What are my units of measurement? I have kilometers times kilometers, so kilometers squared, or kilometers. What is the actual right way of saying that? I don't know. And I obviously can't talk today either. Okay, number 3. What shape are we dealing with in number 3? It's a 4-sided shape with 2 right angles, some uneven sides. What shape is this? Okay, this is our trapezoid formula. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and over here write our area for a trapezoid. Area for a trapezoid equals parentheses A plus B. So we have a little side and a big side that are across from each other. Divide it by 2, multiply it by our height. Okay, now that we got that formula down, let's go ahead and plug it in on number 3. So first we need to identify our A and our B. So A and B are always sides that are across from each other. Okay, well, A is going to be my little side, so that tells me that 2.8 is my little side. Okay, and across from my A is my B, so we know that 5.8 is my B. And then height is easy. How tall is this trapezoid? 2 is our height. Okay, well, let's go ahead and plug that in. So we have area equals parentheses A, 2.8 meters, plus B, 5.8 meters. Whoops, there's a little m there. Then we're going to have to divide it by 2 and multiply it by our height, which is also 2 meters. Okay, well, remember, we have to follow the order of operations, PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P for parentheses always comes first. So let's go ahead and add 2.8 plus 5.8. And we get 8.6. Okay, so this little piece in the parentheses turned into an 8.6. We still have the divide by 2 and multiply by 2. And it is meters. Okay, well, now we're going to divide by 2. So we can take 8.6 and divide that by 2. And we get 4.3. Area equals 4.3 meters because we just took that piece and it turned into 4.3. And lastly, we're going to multiply it by 2 meters. Okay, so what is 4.3 times 2? Again, we get 8.6. 8.6. But 8.6 what? What are my units of measurement here? So again, we have meters times meters, so meters squared. And there is our area. Beautiful. Okay, let's look at number 4. What shape are we dealing with number 4? It's a 4-sided shape again, and it's just a rectangle that's been slanted. What do we call that? We call that a parallelogram. Both of these opposite sides are parallel. They're never going to cross. So we can go ahead and write this formula. So the area of a parallelogram, which is like a slanty rectangle, equals base times height. Okay, now that we have that, let's go ahead and identify our base and our height. So what is my base of this parallelogram? We have 7. And what's my height? How tall is it? 3.9. Okay, now that we know our base and our height, we can plug it in. So I have the area equals my base, 7 centimeters, times my height, 3.9 centimeters. Now I can go ahead and multiply these two. So I have 7 times 3.9. Let's go ahead and do that in our calculator. And I get 27.3. 27.3, but 27.3 what? What are my units of measurement? Centimeters squared, because of centimeters times centimeters. And that is our area for number 4. Beautiful. All right. Let's look at numbers 5 and 6. So our directions are telling us to find the missing measurement, okay? So notice it already gives us our area, okay? So we're almost working backwards. It gives us our area, and first of all, let's identify what shape is this. Number 5 is a triangle, and triangles, we need our base and our height. And then we multiply it by 1/2. Okay, well, on number 5, do we have our base? Yes, we do. It does give us our base, 12 kilometers. Do we have our height? No, we do not, which is what we're trying to solve for. Okay, so where I would usually write my A for area, I'm going to put in 35.4, and I'm just going to leave off the units for now, just to make it a little cleaner. So 35.4 is my area. It equals 1/2 times my base, 12 kilometers, whoops, didn't mean to put kilometers, oh well, times my height, which we don't know, so we're going to leave as h for height. Okay, so now we're trying to solve for h. So we're looking at our same side as our h. So I need to get rid of these guys, but I actually need to combine them first. So let's go ahead and multiply 1/2 times 12. Okay, so I get, whoops, 0.5 times 12, or 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we haven't done anything with the 35.4 yet, so that just stays 35.4. 1/2 times 12 turned into 6, and now it's being multiplied by the height. Okay, well now there's only one thing I need to get rid of to get my h by itself. What is the opposite of times by 6? We are going to divide by 6. Divide by 6 on both sides, so I get h is equal to what? What is my h? Let's go ahead and put that in our calculator. 35.4 divided by 6, and I get 5.9. 5.9. 5.9 what? Remember, now we need to put our units on it because we need to specify. 5.9 what? It's not kilometers squared because it's not our area. It's simply kilometers because we know that the height is 5.9 kilometers high. So we found our height, our missing measurement. Awesome. Okay, number 6, what shape are we dealing with? Because that's going to tell us what formula we have to use. Okay, this is a trapezoid, so we need to use our trapezoid formula. Okay, and notice it already gives us our area. Okay, so where I would usually write my A, I'm going to write 15.3 equals. That is my area. Okay, well now I need my A plus B first. Okay, does it give us our A? Does it give us our little side? Yes, it does. Does it give us our B? No, it doesn't. So that's what we're solving for. Okay, does it give us our height? Yes, it does. So let's go ahead and plug all this into our formula. So we have 15.3 equals, in parentheses, A plus B. So parentheses 2.2 plus B, we don't know, so we're just going to leave it as B. Okay, we have to divide that by 2 because the formula tells us to. Then we have to multiply it by our height, which is 3. Okay, now there's a few things we have to do to get B by itself. So look at our side with our B in it. What is the farthest thing away from my B? 2.2 is connected, divided by 2 is kind of connected, so times by 3 is the farthest thing that's away. So what is the opposite of times by 3? We're going to divide that 3. We're going to get rid of it, so on both sides. Okay, so what is 15.3 divided by 3? Let's check that. 15.3 divided by 3 gives me 5.1. So I get 5.1 on this side equals, we still have it parentheses, 2.2 plus B, but now we're just left with divide by 2. Okay, well now we see that 2.2 is still the closest, so now divide by 2 is farthest away. So how do I get rid of divide by 2? We're going to multiply by 2 to both sides. So now I get 5.1 times 2. It's going to give me 10.2 on this side. And now, since all I have is 2.2 plus B, I don't need parentheses anymore. So 2.2 plus B. So we're getting closer and closer to getting B all by itself. So look at this side. What is the opposite of plus 2.2? We're going to subtract 2.2 from both sides. 2.2. So I get my B is all by itself over here, which is great. So now all I need is 10.2 minus 2.2, and I get 8. A nice, pretty 8. But what are my units of measurement on my 8? We're looking for our base, which is just kilometers. So our base is 8 kilometers. Awesome. Alrighty. So now we're going to solve some word problems using our area formulas. So let's go ahead and look at number 7. We're just going to read and underline. I'm going to underline some important information, or information I think is important. Mary wants to find the area of her bedroom. Okay, area of her bedroom. Okay, well, what shapes usually are bedrooms? Okay, that's most likely a rectangle. She measures the length of one side is 12 feet and the width is 14 feet. What is the area of her room? Okay, so let's go ahead and draw her room. So we have one of the sides, the length is 12 feet. That means the width is 14 feet, that side. Okay, well, we know with a rectangle, we have length times width. So let's go ahead and plug that into our formula. Area equals length. Actually, I mislabeled that. This is width, and that is length. Kind of doesn't matter, but that's what the word problem tells us. Okay, so we have length, 12 feet, times width, 14 feet. Okay, now let's go ahead and solve this. So we have 12 times 14. What is the area of Mary's room? 12 times 14 is 168. What are my units of measurement? Feet times feet, so feet squared. And there we go. We solved the word problem. We simply had to give ourselves a picture, just like we were doing up here. All right, let's look at number 8. Pete is planting a triangular garden in his backyard. Okay, well, that's good to know. His garden is triangular. He knows that the area of the garden is 12 square feet. Ooh, the area of the garden is 12 square feet. And he knows it's 6 feet from the bottom of the top, to the top, excuse me. What is the base measurement? Okay, so let's draw this. So we have a garden, a triangular garden. The area equals 12 square feet, or feet squared. Okay, he knows that it's 6 feet from the bottom to the top. So 6 feet. What is the base? Ooh, so we want to find B for base. Okay, well, this is just like these guys where we were going backwards. So we know our area is 12 feet. So we have 12 equals. Okay, well, we're using our triangular formula, which is 1/2 times our base, which we don't know, so I'm just going to leave that as B, times our height, which is 6. I'm just going to leave the units off for now. Okay, well, let's look at our side with our B. Are there any two things we can combine first? Yes, we can multiply 1/2 times 6. So let's do 1/2 times 6. Okay, so we got 0.5 times 6, or 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I get 12, we haven't done anything with that yet, equals 3 times B. Okay, well, our last step for solving and getting B by itself, what is the opposite of times by 3? We're going to divide by 3. So I get B is all by itself. What does B equal? What is 12 divided by 3? 12 divided by 3 is 4. And what are my units of measurement? My base is what? For what? It's 4 feet. And we solved that word problem. Awesome. Okay, let's do 2 more. Scott wants to find the area of his teacher's desk. Okay, teacher's desk, what shape is that usually going to be? It's going to be a rectangle, most likely. I'm going to draw a rectangle. He knows the length is 4 3/4 feet. Okay, so 4 3/4 feet. And the width is 2.5 feet. What is the area? All right, so we know we just have to multiply length times width. So we know our length is 4 3/4, and we know our width is 2.5. Okay, so let's go ahead. Area is going to equal 4. How do I want to punch this into my calculator, though? What is the decimal for 3/4? Think quarters. It's going to be 4.75. Okay, so 4.75 times 2.5. What is our decimal for a half? 0.5. And that's going to give us our area. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply these two numbers together. So I got 4.75 times 2.5, and I get 11.875. Area equals 11.875. Okay, what are my units of measurement? So I had feet times feet, so feet squared. Beautiful. Okay, last example. Lucy knows that the area of the door into her bedroom, okay, is 12 square feet. So we're talking about a door, which is most likely a rectangle again. The area, so it's giving us the area. Area equals 12 square feet or feet squared. The door is 6 feet high, so 6 feet. What is the width? So we're going to label that as width. How wide is it? Okay, well again, this is one of those where we're going backwards, so it already gives us the area. So I'm going to put in 12 for our area equals our length, which is 6, whoops, almost wrote length, times our width, which we don't know, so we're just going to keep that as W. Okay, well now I need to get W by itself, so there's one thing I got to get rid of. What is the opposite of times by 6? We're going to divide by 6 on both sides. W is all by itself over here, so that means that's our answer. What is 12 divided by 6? I get 2. But what are my units of measurement? 2 what? 2 feet. We found that the door is 2 feet wide. And there we go. Awesome. Those are your notes for today. There is an assignment that goes with it.